Getting the kayaks out on the water for their first proper adventure as we headed north to cooler weather and explored Voyageurs National Park was a highlight of our summer. The meandering trails, the stillness of the water, and having simple meals with each other is why we do these trips, even when not everything goes to plan.
Story from the kayak with Aaron. I think we gotta come up with a better name than that. A little jingle.
Well, we're just outside Voyageurs National Park. We're staying at Echo Lake Campground. It's about an hour outside the park, and we are so excited for this trip. We have brought our kayaks, which has already been an adventure. We got them. They're up top. Let's see.
I'm gonna drive for the first time. I'm a little nervous about it.
There's a view of them. Everything's going well so far.
At 5 miles an hour in the parking lot, everything's going well.
Okay, they're still there. It's like when we towed the Airstream for the first time. Aaron, you have to watch the road.
I looked and then I looked up.
No.
But it's making me nervous.
We're gonna put them in the water. We're gonna take a tour of the park on one of the days, do some hiking. This park is pretty widespread, so from end to end, it's quite a drive. So it's gonna take us a couple days to check out some of the sites, and it's just gonna be scratching the surface.
Wow. Well, we've just arrived. We're at Ash River Visitor Center. This is where we're going to be putting the kayaks in for the first time, and all we've done so far is literally just like walk around, and already beautiful, peaceful. It's super chill, like cool temperatures. I'm already in love.
What do you think? Is that a good spot for you? That's where you're gonna start. Getting that bug spray on?
We went and talked to a ranger at the visitor center before getting out on the water. He recommended this little inlet that was near the visitor center but is protected on both sides, away from motorboats and things. So that's where we are, and we have the entire thing to ourselves. There's not even other kayaks or canoes out here, and we're just floating around. We're probably going to have our lunches in the boats, just have our sandwiches just floating on the water.
The inlet ended up being a perfect lunch spot. We're just sitting here. We're not even getting blown around, even though there's like a nice breeze. And somehow just the most basic sandwich just hits different when you are outside and in the elements.
Day one, being in Voyageurs National Park. I'm calling it a massive success. We've spent about 2 hours, a couple hours I guess, out on the water in the kayaks, had our lunch, had our little sandwiches and stuff. Now we are headed back to the dock and gonna go on some hikes this afternoon.
So we're going to be doing a handful of overlook trails. They're little short trails that just kind of pop you out to get an overlook, exactly like they're called. So we're going to do that as well as one longer trail this afternoon, kind of exploring around this visitor center, and then we'll do some of the other hiking and trails like that around the other visitor center one of the other days this weekend.
All right, our next hike's gonna be the Voyager Forest Overlook, and it's another short one. So 0.5 out, 0.5 back. It's getting a little cloudy overhead, so we're sticking to the shorter hikes. A little bit of a steep climb there, right?
Yeah. A little out of breath.
Yeah, me too.
We're on our last little overlook trail to Lake Kabetogama, I believe is how you pronounce that. Could be wrong. And pretty much all of these, we've been the only ones around. So in the parking lots, it's either just us or maybe one other car. It's kind of been amazing that we're in the peak of summer season on a Friday. So it's, you know, people want to take a long weekend and it's like 70, 75 degrees here. It's perfect. So almost nobody around though.
The busiest parking lot was the one by the visitor center because people were putting their boats in the water. So they were taking up like 2 spots per person. But if you really think about it, that wasn't even that crowded. And then once you're out on the water, it felt like nobody was there as well. So it's just, compared to like some of the other parks, this is just really, really surprising. This is the lake we were kayaking on before, so now we're just seeing it from above. To Sullivan Bay, this is a 1.5, and it is also a snowshoeing trail, so imagine it's a little bit wider and flatter. So it's supposed to look out one of the bays, obviously, and hopefully we beat the rain because neither of us have rain jackets.
As the day goes on, the mosquitoes are definitely getting progressively worse. Gotta cover up, continue to use bug spray. With DEET, without DEET, plant-based, whatever you got. Sometimes the chemicals are needed. Obviously have to hike back here with wood, but this is an absolutely awesome spot to have a campfire. So we made it to Sullivan Bay, which was another one we could have kayaked today had we either decided just to do this, or if we still had the energy after our first kayak, we could have come down here, and there is a little tiny channel that gets back from the main big lake back to this bay, and we could have done that, which would have been nice as well. There's absolutely no one back here, but motorboats can be back here. There was one here just a second ago, and so being able to get into that inlet earlier without motorboats was definitely a plus.
So unfortunately, we did get a call just now that they're having issues with the boat for the tour. So we won't be able to go on the tour for Rainy Lake. So we're going to have to reassess our itinerary. But I just want to get back to the car and through these mosquitoes. And then we can talk about that and what the plan is going to be for the next couple days.
Good morning. We made it back here and passed out last night. We barely had dinner. And we're just apparently so tired from all of our adventures that we needed a good night's sleep. So we are up and ready for day 2, getting ready to hit the road and go to Rainy Lake Visitor Center. One thing I wanted to mention though is that if you are coming up to this region, make sure you have your coffee situation sorted. We did bring our own coffee, we didn't forget it, but we thought that National Park, there'd be some cute cafe, there'd be something around in one of these small towns. There really hasn't been. So this morning we do have our own coffee in our Rivet and roll mugs, and we're going to enjoy that as we go. Nice and easy. And we're off. So we're starting with a little bit of a kayak over to a trail. So it's about, the trailhead's about a mile away. And again, we got another beautiful day. A little bit of a breeze, you might even call it chilly. At the end of July here. going for a while now, and we're kind of going along the coast on the other side where we believe the trailhead is at. So far, no luck, but we're just gonna keep going, see if we find it. Maybe we'll pass it and we'll have to get it on the way back. Well, right as I said that, came around the corner and there's a big dock out here, and I see the trailhead map, or trailhead sign.
We officially found it. There's a sign. There are a couple people that just left, so we are currently the only kayaks that are here. So we're gonna go on a little bit of a hike and then we'll have lunch on the dock.
Just getting our first glimpses of a little pond back here. I'm assuming that's the beaver pond. See if any beavers are back here doing their thing. What do you think?
It's pretty cool. It smells really good out here. And it's just so still. There are these bugs, but I'm trying to find a beaver. You know?
Definitely one of the more rustic trails that we've ever hiked. You can just tell because you have to kayak to it or canoe to it, get it over here by water. And not a lot of people use this trail. And then once you get to this little island, there's a couple of different trail options. So we did the one back to Beaver Pond. Now we are headed back. We're gonna have lunch. All right, here we go, headed back to the visitor center. What? You want me to tell the story? Story from the kayak with Aaron. I think we gotta come up with a better name than that. A little jingle. Well, before we got back in the kayaks, I needed to use the restroom. And here on the island, they have one. And I hiked back there, found it. As I was walking up, I think I made note of it, but nothing like crazy, that there was a little bit of a hive on the outside. And then I went in, and as I closed the door slammed a little bit. And all of a sudden I hear just zzz, and I knew that maybe that had activated and maybe aggravated the hive. And so after I was finished, I just waited a minute, waited for them to calm down, or what at least I thought was calming down. And then I knew when I stepped out that I should be a little bit more gentle with the door. So I was, and I decided to try and walk the opposite direction away from them, but one of them just maybe woke up on the wrong side of the bed, needed a Snickers, I don't know, decided I was the Snickers, and came and got me right in my shoulder. And it hurt real bad. So I wasn't sure if maybe that was gonna activate the others and the others were gonna come get me or whatever. So I decided to take off for a little bit of a run back to the kayaks. And I'm pretty sure it followed me all the way out. And I thought I could hear it buzzing around me still. But got back to the kayaks. It hurt, and I can tell it's gonna hurt, it's gonna be sore. Because I think it was more than just like, I don't know if it was just a normal bee or what, a wasp of some sort. Who knows?
You have like 3 marks.
Amanda checked it out, says I have 3 marks. We'll see how this progresses. But you know, no major allergic reaction, no anaphylaxis or anything like that. And if we do, I have an EpiPen with me, so. But we're just gonna go for a nice little relaxing kayak back to the visitor center now. Bring our heart rate down a little bit.
we're doing recreation trail now. It's actually paved. It leaves from the visitor center. It's not too long. It's like an hour or two. So we're just going to recreate. No, but for real, we're just gonna kind of go on a leisurely hike. Again, it's still perfect out. Right now the bugs aren't too bad, but we're prepared just in case.
Well, that trail, because it was kind of paved and a little wider, is in the sun and a little hot, so we have cut across the road and we're gonna make our way onto the other trail that we wanted to do today, which I'm not gonna try and pronounce.
Oberholzer.
Oberholzer. Apparently I'm gonna try and pronounce it, but probably butcher it.
I think that's it. There's recreational trail, so I assume.
Right, so we're out here on the trail having a conversation about some other adventurous creatures from Homeward Bound, the greatest movie, not the greatest movie, but a great movie. And we're having a conversation about who voiced the wonderful Shadow, Chance, and Sassy. And there's some big names. So I'm going to give you about 5 seconds to make a guess, put it in the comments below. And be honest, don't wait until I tell you the answers. Because Sassy was voiced by Sally Fields, Chance by Michael J. Fox, and Shadow by an actor named Don Ameche, which I'm admittedly not as familiar with. He died when I was very young. But the two of them, that's pretty big names for that movie. So, anyways, thought that was interesting, and we'd share with you here. Getting a little tired?
Just a little warm,
Okay.
but
Need some iced coffee?
it would be nice.
We'll see if we can track it down.
Yeah, we'll see if we're successful or not, but finish this up and then go do that, because maybe we won't sleep for 12 hours like we did.
We are on the hunt for coffee, which we think is around the corner. But we parked, and they have the largest Smokey Bear statue